Hi, and welcome along to AFTV. Arsenal have made another signing. It's official. Martin Ødegaard is back at Arsenal. Of course, we had him on loan last season. He joined in January, and I thought that he had a good loan period. Scored 2 goals, played, what was his, 20 games he played, and yeah, you could look on it and say, you know, 2 goals doesn't look like a great return. But I remember when he came in, we were lacking creativity in the middle of the park. And he came in and you could see straight away that he brought creativity to Arsenal. And I think this is going to be a good addition. I know that it's not a brand new signing because he was here before. So maybe that's why we're not as excited as we possibly should be. But for me, I'm excited because I feel that Martin Ødegaard really is a quality player. I heard, I think it was Jamie O'Hara on the radio the other night mocking the transfer and saying, oh, Martin Ødegaard, he was there last year. What's he going to do? Listen, he's a quality player. He was only there in January. We know not every single player hits the ground running completely, but I thought he hit the ground running. And remember, towards the end of the season, he sort of suffered a bit of an injury setback that kept him out. And I thought that was quite pivotal because I thought he was playing really, really well in that Arsenal team. So Ødegaard is joining Arsenal. The fee said to be around about an initial £30 million. Remember, he was being valued at around about £50 million about 6 weeks ago by Real Madrid. Remember, he was once one of the real wonder kids, considered at one time to be the best young player in European football for his age. He was signed by Real Madrid in 2015, and at that time, he was only 16 years of age. And, you know, I remember at the time, there were loads of teams after him. I remember Arsenal were interested in him as well, but got signed to Real Madrid, came in there at 2015, and it just hasn't really happened for him at Real Madrid. It's been a real difficult time for him. Always going to be really difficult when you get signed in as such a young player and, you know, you're surrounded by so many great midfielders like Modric and players like that, you know, Toni Kroos. But, you know, he's been trying his best to get into that team. He's had several loans. He went on loan, I think, to Herenveen. He then went to Vitesse Arnhem, you know, and both of those loans that he did over there in Holland, he did very, very well. I think at Vitesse he scored, I've got my notes here, 11 goals at Vitesse. Sorry, 11 goals at Vitesse. He then went on after that to have a very successful loan period, playing for Real Sociedad, where he scored 7 goals in that season. There was a lot of talk that he could even go to Real Sociedad on a permanent move. That's how impressive he was over there in La Liga. Real Madrid bought him back, but then Arsenal pounced and bought him in on a loan move to Arsenal. And yeah, when he came in at Arsenal, I felt he did pretty well. Mikel Arteta at the end of the season was talking about how he was desperately looking to bring him back in, but Real Madrid said they wanted him back. They wanted to get him back into the team. They saw him as the future. And next minute, you know, Carlo Ancelotti turns up and he's sort of surplus to requirements. A lot of it as well is to do with the fact that Real Madrid are trying to, you know, get money in. They've got lots of financial trouble, as a lot of those teams over there in Spain have. They've got a very, very bloated squad, and it was almost inevitable that they were going to have to offload some of these players. Now, Arsenal seemed to be initially more interested in trying to bring in James Maddison, but that's proved very, very difficult for Arsenal. They've turned their attentions back to Martin Ødegaard, especially after that first day defeat against Brentford. They knew that they had to act to try and get somebody into that midfield area. And Ødegaard is now back at Arsenal, and he's now found a home, a permanent move to Arsenal, and I think it's a good one. When I look at some of the stats around Martin Ødegaard, which I have here, This is his league stats from last season. Now, before Ødegaard signed, we played 20 games. We won 9 of those games, drew 3 and lost 8. That was a win ratio of 45%. With Ødegaard, that percentage went up a bit. With Ødegaard, we played 18 games, won 9, drew 4 and lost 5, a win percentage of 50%. So it rose up 5%. Listen, it needs to rise up a lot more than that. But still, you saw that there was a difference there. There was a difference in the fact that Arsenal played better. There was more creativity within the team. He was finding balls, you know, to get to our strikers, because that has been one of the big problems with Arsenal since Mikel Arteta has come in. The lack of creativity. Actually, even before Arteta came in, even under Emery, the lack of creativity in the team. And this is what we're going to be hoping Martin Ødegaard brings to the team. I remember speaking to a Norwegian journalist the last time he was here, and we brought him in on loan, and I said, you know, what type of player is Martin Ødegaard? What type of player are we getting? And he described him, this was his description, and I always remember it. He said, he's like Mesut Ozil, but he works a lot harder. And you saw that with him. Maybe not as silky yet and as, you know, technically brilliant as Mesut Ozil, but you saw that he was technically very good and he works his socks off. The other thing that can't be overlooked with a player like Martin Ødegaard is his strength and leadership on the pitch. He's actually at 22, remember he's still only 22, he's actually the captain of Norway. And, you know, there's some big characters in that team like, you know, Haaland and people like that. So he's a captain of that team. And for me, that's a good sign, because it means that we're adding more leadership to that team. I'm looking around at some of the players that are coming in, even like, and these are young players, even like Sambi Lokonga, when he was at Anderlecht, even though he's still very young at 21, he was the captain of Anderlecht. You know, Ødegaard, captain of his country. I think getting players on the pitch that are leaders is very, very important at Arsenal, because it's one thing we know. We have seriously lacked leadership on the pitch over the last few years. So hopefully he can bring a bit of that as well. So yeah, I'm fairly, you know, fairly happy with his signing. As I said, a very creative player, a very intelligent player. He's got leadership qualities. And I think it's a very positive signing for Arsenal. He's not going to have to take ages assimilating into the team. He knows the place. When he was at Arsenal, he loved it. He loved his time there. He said that when he was going back to Real Madrid. For me, this signing makes perfect sense. And at £30 million, I think it's a good deal. When you think deals like Buendia, you know, how much those deals cost, you know, it makes perfect sense for me that, you know, £30 million for Martin Ødegaard, that for me is a decent price. And it's another good player. I'm starting to look at it and say there are some decent players in that Arsenal squad. There's going to be no excuses for Mikel Arteta this season. He's getting a few of the players that are the players that he wants, and he's getting them. And now he has to get the best out of these players, and he has to get the best out of Martin Ødegaard. So Martin Ødegaard back at Arsenal. We've got that creative attacking midfielder that we so desired. He is back into the team. Looking forward to seeing him play. And all I got to say right now is welcome back to Arsenal, Martin Ødegaard.